I'm Vicente Hernandez, and you're watching BYO Beats. We're gonna have some great beer and listen to some great music.
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It'll be a good one.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Yeah, although forgive my if you're watching my poor mustache. We are coming to you from the past and it is Movember, so I shaved down and it's coming back in. So, yeah, it'll be a little bit until I'm back to normal, but
Nice.
yeah,
I'm
I
just
was
doing
trying to do the
no
beard, but it was
shave.
just so itchy. I couldn't.
Yeah. No, I'll be doing no shave for November.
There
So
you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't shaved in like 6.5 years, so
dang.
not.
Okay.
Oh.
I did a full shave like 2 months ago, and it
Wow.
looked awful. Like I was so upset. I walk into work, no one even says hello. And
Oh.
like, because usually when you do something like that and it works out well, people are like, "Wow, you look so different," and like in a good way. And like, I got a host came up to me that day and was like, "What did you do to your face?" And I, and I said, "I know it's so bad. It'll be back in a week, I promise." And
Jeez.
yeah, so
Yep, mine takes a little bit more than that. It took me a long time to get that mustache the way I wanted it, but
mm,
hey, for charity, right?
for sure.
So,
I'm
yeah, we're here. BYO Beats
terrified to ever
Podcast.
like shave this because I can't remember what I look like under. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go from like looking like I'm 30 down to 12. This mustache, this is as good as it gets. I don't shave it or trim or anything. It's just like it is. Yeah.
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 We're
Well,
here. BYO
yeah,
Beats
we're here,
Podcast.
man. Let's get into this beer
Yeah,
because I'm thirsty.
me too.
I like the way you think.
I had a long day of errands, so I'm excited to drink some beer. The selection for this Anthem segment, which is what's rocking with you right now, was Iron City Light. However, I
Yeah.
am not in the Iron City, so I had to settle for something a little closer to me, the old
Yeah,
Miller Lightski.
Cool. I am in the Iron City, so that's
nice.
my
Oh
two
yeah.
like.
I'm not. I'm also not in the Iron City. I went with Shorts Locals Light.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, let's get that ceremonial crack. Mine's gonna be so weak because I'm just twisting off this.
Oh, I did it from the
Don't worry about it. You can get it on the next one. You're good.
yeah.
Do I even bother with the glass? Do I just go straight from this?
I don't
I'm
know.
going straight from this.
I feel like for a Miller, yeah, you got the can with the twist off. Yes.
Yeah.
Right out of there.
I'm with the glass to try to look like I'm fancy.
Nice.
Ooh.
I do have my BYO Beats mug.
Yeah, I'll be rocking with the glass the rest of the night, but
Nice. Yeah. Cheers, genitals.
Cheers.
Uh,
What'd you say?
Hey, knocked his camera. It's time for a
Yeah,
little drinky poo.
I'm actually busy. I gotta go.
Oh my god.
You guys already drinking? Am I supposed to wait or?
No,
Yeah,
please,
go for it. Go
go
for it.
right
Yeah.
ahead.
So Iron City Light, it's any Pittsburgher knows all about it. It's Do they distribute outside of Pennsylvania?
I doubt it. Really, I mean, because why would you? People buy that stuff
Right.
like a lot, but only I feel like every place has their own icy light, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it's a really good beer that's from that town. So I don't know. Uh, but this isn't about me. This is about Vicente and why it's his Anthem beer.
Well, for me, Isolat's always a good go-to beer, especially if you're just sitting around hanging out with friends, talking. It's light, tastes decent, at least tastes decent. Um, it's not that expensive either. I mean, top can was barely anything, so
Yeah,
it's
like
good to
2 bucks.
just sit,
Yeah,
hang around, and down a lot of these.
nice. What's your what's your record?
In how long of a time?
I don't know,
Like 3 hours.
in a drinking session. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to sound insane.
That's fine.
Uh,
They're light beers, so you're good. Like it's not.
cool. Yeah, I. That's where we're going to go with. It's because it's light beer. So, do you remember Matt Ethier from
Yeah, yeah.
CMU? Yeah. So, Matt and I went to Duquesne together. We also lived together for a number of years. We went to Duquesne for our masters, and one of our friends, Trevor, and his wife Anna, were both at Duquesne. We would go over to their place, hang out, eat, and drink beer, and play video games, watch movies, or watch some sports ball game.
Sure.
And there was one day that Matt and I went over to Trevor's place, and I think I brought like 2 cases of beer or a case and a 6-pack. We went through all of that, and then we went through another case that Trevor had. Then Anna got home from work, looked at us, and saw a full kitchen counter just full of cans. Went, what the hell is wrong with you guys? And I think we had like another like 10 or 12. I think that day I had probably 15 or 16, maybe even 18 or 20. That's like in a good, started at lunch, ended around like 8 p.m.
Yeah, you're on my team if we do the American Challenge ever.
American Challenge?
Yeah, what's
The
that?
American Challenge. That's where, so you get a team of 5 people, I think, and you do this with multiple teams, however many people show up to a party, and you drink a 30 rack of beer, a fifth of whatever alcohol the team wants, eat a whole pizza, and do a 200-piece puzzle, and the first one done wins.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. The only other thing that I'm thinking of is the 999 challenge. Where
What is that?
you go to a baseball game and you have to have 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, and you have to finish in 9 innings.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes, I've seen people do this, and it's upsetting to watch. Yeah, it's just so much.
If you don't finish, you lose. If you barf, you lose.
That's so.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
I'm sure I wouldn't even make it. Like I wouldn't even make it to getting sick. I just couldn't. I don't think.
Did you ever go to Opera House here?
Oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
really cool. So you know how they have the big per liter mugs that you can get?
Yeah.
So we had a running challenge of like, well, because we could always, you down one, you're fine. The second one, depending on the day, it might be easy. It might kind of drag on a little bit, hard to finish too. We had a challenge of like, let's see who can drink 3. And I was the first person to drink 3 liters. I had like 5 of those pretzels too. And it was, I was full, and then one of our friends went kind of buzzed. She went, let's get ice cream. There's ice cream down the street.
Oh.
It's a bad combination. All right.
Walked like quarter mile to get milkshakes, and walked back. I have to say, my stomach felt like a rock. It was just sitting there. I don't think I ate the next day. I was just trying to recover.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a challenge.
Yeah. I feel like I can envision exactly that walk. I feel like I did that once. I didn't get a milkshake though. I got like tacos after the bar. So, but and it was definitely not that far either. But you were in the south side, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad walk though. It's pretty flat right in that spot. But
It was
anyway.
easy enough.
But
So,
Icy Light, let's bring it
yes.
back.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to have a couple of them at some sports events. I had one at a Penguins game, I think a couple of Pirates games. Yeah, great tasting beer.
Yeah. One of those cities with a really good hockey team and a baseball team that's questionable. But I mean,
Almost made the
Or-
playoffs this year.
Well, that's good. I mean, so are the Tigers, but I still call them mildly questionable. But-
At least at least you have a football team. My hometown, the football team moved away. So
oh,
Oh,
St.
St.
Louis?
Louis?
San Diego.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
you forget about that one because they didn't move that far.
Yeah, that one really breaks my heart. That was ridiculous. LA does not need more teams. They have too
No.
many teams.
I liked the Rams going back to LA. That was cool with me, but San Diego, the Chargers leaving,
Mm.
just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's right there, and San Diego has more than enough money to. I figured. I mean, like I, we went. Johnny, were you on the Holiday Bowl trip?
Yeah.
Or was that?
Yeah,
you
that was
were.
my freshman year. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that place. It was,
Yeah, it was
so
fun.
clean
It was
and
fun.
so nice. Like, and we performed at the old Charger Stadium.
Qualcomm?
I think so. I don't know.
Qualcomm's good.
Anyway, we're off topic already again.
Yeah, already.
Wow.
Do we have anything else on Icy Light or other light beers?
Just Iron City wise, like I went with a couple of my friends back in obviously last month, but no, we're in November now. Um, Back in August, went to Iron City Distillery and just did a brewery tour. Had lots of good beer. It basically just handed us samples, and the worst thing was it was at like 10:30 a.m.
Oh,
I hadn't,
Okay.
hadn't had lunch yet, and so after like the fourth sample, I was like, I think I'm starting to feel this a little bit. So finished out. I think we had like 8 samples of beer, and then they let us sample some liquor. So we had some whiskey, some gin, some rum. It was good. Really cool building. Tons of stuff going on. It's awesome.
yeah. So if you're ever in Pittsburgh, check it out for sure.
Yeah.
I think it was only like $25 or something like that.
That's not bad.
Not
So
at all. Yeah. Pittsburgh's a cool place for sure. They have a lot of good beer there. The Icy Light is the tip of the iceberg. A good tip of the iceberg, though, for sure.
oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Shall we get to the music?
Sure.
Yeah, so this one is actually really interesting. As always, for you listeners at home, you beer listeners and music drinkers, you can find all of these songs in the BYO Beats podcast, the complete collection playlist. It's linked in our link tree, which you can find on our Instagram at BYOBeats_podcast. It's right there in the bio. I believe it's just linktr.ee/BYOBeats. But it's in the bio, so easy to get to. We are listening first for the anthem for our guest. We are listening to Qawwali Sufi Folk Song. Did I pronounce that right?
Sure, we'll go with
We'll
it.
go with it.
That's how I'm pronouncing it.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break and listen to that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we just listened to Qawwali Sufi Folk Song, original artist unknown. This was performed by Michael Buchanan. Take it away. What makes this your anthem?
So this is something that I was introduced to by one of my super close friends, Omar Al-Nusa. Well, dude, he and I did our undergrads together. He's in Chicago, originally from there. We were hanging out. It was actually after an audition I had for the Chicago Lyric. We were going to hang out, grab food, and he's like, "Hey, let me put on this album from this guy Michael Buchanan. Have you heard of him?" I was like, "No, I mean, I'm not super familiar with tons of tenor trombone players, but I know a lot of the big ones." And he started playing, and I heard this song, and I was shocked at how I've gone through so much of my life being around professional level music, especially professional level trombone. I'd never heard this guy. And just the way that he phrases, how effortless all of his playing is, it just doesn't feel like it's real. It's just so amazing. And I've probably listened to that album probably 15 to 20 times since March. Every once in a while, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Let me just listen to this. Because every time I'm floored at how beautiful it is.
Yeah, I almost thought it was a French horn at first because the tone is a little bit higher, and then I realized I was like that it doesn't sound quite like a French horn, and the I guess trills. I mean, because we would do like a lip trill, but I mean, obviously with a trombone you can just wiggle.
Well, he's probably doing lip trills
You
though.
still have to lip drill.
Oh, really?
Trombones
Yeah.
can do it a little bit easier than probably every other instrument except horn. Like,
Yeah.
maybe euphoniums can do it sometimes. Trumpets, unless they're in a super high range, have no use for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I could never figure out how to do it. So
Oh, it takes a freaking million years. Like, for real, it feels like it. 'Cause,
yeah, I was never very a talented horn player. I got to where I was based purely off of hard work. So
do you want me to get a little nerdy about lip trills? real quick?
absolutely, I do.
Do it.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So this is kind of how there's several different ways to learn how to do it. But the most common, I would say, is you get, I don't know, you don't even need to see it, but I'm sure there's an etude book out there somewhere that has it in there. It's just like quarter note, getting from note to note, then eighth note, note to note, triplets, sixteenths, quicker and quicker until it's just a trill. Like that becomes the norm for you. And you then on top of that start the trills, because the starting the trill for a lot of people is like the hardest thing to do about it. Because you can get faster and faster from slow pretty easily once you've done it for a while. But starting it, so you just go baya, 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 baya. Do as many in a row as you can. The reason that horns can do it better than most other instruments is because the instrument is placed in the harmonic series in a different, more close together place than other instruments are. So what that means is that the harmonic series on brass instruments is the notes that it can hit with one fingering combination or one slide position. You change those by tightening your embouchure, of course. If you're a brass player, it's an of course. If you didn't know that, I guess that wouldn't be an of course, would it? But the notes on a horn that are in the harmonic series are closer in our range. So if you read music, you can C at a middle C, E on the first line, G, A, B flat, that's really out of tune, C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, B natural, C.
I had no idea you could hit all those notes without changing your fingering.
Yeah, you can. So on a trumpet, to do going again from middle C, you just have C, G, a very flat, B flat, C, E, G, going up.
Wow.
So yeah, it makes it really easy at a certain point, once you've learned the actual muscle memory of it, to just go straight between them. Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I'm stealing a page out of the Brass Junkies at this point. That's not usually what the show is, but yeah.
Thank you, Professor Doss.
I'll do my best, I guess. Vicente, how'd I do? Because, I mean, I don't know how trombonists usually learn how to lip trill, I guess.
I don't know how most tenors do. As a bass trombonist, I can only think of one excerpt that I have to trill.
Okay.
Whereas I know there are tenor trombone solos and some excerpts where you need it. The exercise they talk about, the quarter, eighths, triplets, sixteenths, and then so on. That's a very common one to go with.
Yeah.
I believe our overtone series are all going to be the same from brass instrument to brass instrument, right?
I think so. The overtone series, yeah.
Yeah, for us, a way to get through it some is generally, I believe, to start on F above F above bass clef staffs, and go to the G above that, because you can do it in first to second, because G there is a sharp second, and F is a flat first, so it's really close. You're just doing a small movement, and you're just trying to figure out at first, like full slide position, and then just shrinks to basically just this. So it's going, but it's our mouthpieces are decently big depending on what instrument you play on. I've definitely been able to trill a little bit more on my tenor than I can on my bass.
That makes sense.
But it's not impossible to trill lower notes. One of the coaches at my high school for band, excuse me, his name is Jim Prindle. I will refer to him always as Mr. Prindle. I just cannot call him Jim as much as he's tried to get me to. There was one rehearsal I played with him afterwards. I was like, all right, have a good night, Mr. Prindle, and walked away. He's like, hey, you graduated. It's Jim now. It's like, I'll try. I don't think I'm going to, but
right.
There was one class that he had with us. He would take us. Our band was great in high school, where once a week, every day of each week, but different days, one section would go out to coaching. So trombones, I think we'd go out on, I want to say Tuesdays. My brain's thinking back a decade, so who knows? But we'd go into the orchestra room and do sectionals. And he went over trills once. And he started off F to G, started doing that. Just went down the slide positions. Then went D to F, B flat to D, F to B flat, and then B flat to F, doing a fifth, trilling that.
A fifth, jeez.
A fifth. In bass clef staffs, doing that fifth. And I remember looking at him and just going, how are you doing that? How is that possible? What is wrong with you? But he would go like, all right, your guys' turn. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Please no.
I love when someone is so good at something that it becomes, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
That's been something that I love, especially studying here at Duquesne and Carnegie Mellon. I've been able to study from Jim Nova and Jeff D, Pittsburgh Symphony, second trombone and bass trombone. And both of them are just ridiculously good. I mean, the whole section is. Jeff has one of the most relaxed and easy sounds I've ever heard. Jim, if you're not familiar with his overdubs, check him out. He'll play from like contrabass trombone all the way up to soprano trombone, and he does things on that instrument that I didn't know were possible. And so there have definitely been times where I've looked at him when he's demonstrating something and just go, you're not real. You're an android. You're something. I'm asleep right now. I'm dreaming. I have to be.
Yeah.
So that's part of what this track has really latched on for me, because it just doesn't seem real. It's so easy for me.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the song from Kill Bill. I think it's The Sleeping Shepherd or something. Hold on. Talking about something else while I look it up.
Well, he figures out what that's. So when I was listening to this, I was feeling emotions, but I had a hard time like putting my finger on what it was. So like, what emotion do you think this folk song is attempting to convey?
I would say remembrance. That's the best I can describe it. Because there's so many instances where he keeps the basics of the tune and then starts lightly ornamentating on it and then recalls back to the original. And I mean, he also finishes it off with a pretty just raw version of it. And his tone going from rich and warm up to singing uppers that just float as if they're not tangible, as if it's just thinking about what is happening.
Yeah, I think it hit the nail on the head there. I was like, I know I'm feeling something here, and it's like it's not quite romance, but it's got a tinge of that, and it's like almost nostalgic, almost longing, but it's not like a sad longing. It's like a happy longing. It's very, very cool. I think Remembrance is perfect. Yeah. Doss, do you have anything else?
Oh, it was the Lonely Shepherd.
The Lonely Shepherd.
But it's I believe the opening and closing credits of Kill Bill.
Got
it's mostly like I'm gonna go with Japanese since they use katanas. I don't know. Yeah, like a Japanese flute solo thing. If you heard it, you would know it. I would play it, but I can't. So
Yeah.
all right, let's do the ratings for our light beers. Icy Light. I have Shorts Brewing Locals Light, and Johnny has Miller Light. It's Miller time over in Wyoming.
Yes, it is.
And they don't like it. They think it should be Coors time. But
I do prefer Coors, I will say. If you were following along last month, you would have heard me say that. And probably, what was that? The segment 5?
Something like that. Yeah, because that's when we drink Coors.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Vicente, rating 1 to 5, 0.25 increments.
0.25 increments. Okay. I would say between taste and just the ability to just sit down and drink this with some friends, I put this at a 4.25.
I am going to probably match that actually for this Shorts Local Light. I really like a local light beer. I don't even that wasn't even a joke. I'm so sorry. That was awful. If you thought that was a joke, I'm sorry. But they're just better than domestics. They taste fresher. They were probably actually fresher also. So it's nice.
Yeah, and with my domestic Miller Lite, it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to go with a 2.75. Although this one does taste better than they usually do. But there's just so many other domestics I like more. And like you said, I would much rather have like a craft light beer than a domestic. They just, like you said, it's crisper, fresher, just tastes better overall. So with that, we're going to rinse out our glasses, pour our next ones, and be back at you for segment number 2.
Welcome back to BYO Beats. We are in segment 2, the childhood memory, with our guest today, Vicente Hernandez. Thank you again for being on the show. We're going to get right into beers. And we have a repeat offender with Oberon American Wheat Ale from Bell's. It's just because we have friends that lived in Michigan, okay? And they like this one. And you know what?
How can you not?
So many other people like this one that aren't just from Michigan. So calm down.
The world famous Oberon. You know it's summertime when you're drinking Oberon. And I'm so glad that I was able to get a case before, like the very last one in the liquor store. So I will be set for the next few winter months whenever I need a little bit of summer in a glass.
There you go.
There you go.
So Vicente, what makes this the childhood memory?
So, for me, it's not so much childhood. Growing up, my parents didn't drink. For me, it's mostly thinking back to my time in Michigan, because I turned 21 in Michigan. My first beer was a Bell's beer, and when Oberon Day came around, hung out with some friends, drank some really good beer, and for me, it's the whole hanging out with friends and chilling. So,
Oh wow.
my friend
Okay.
in my undergrad, Vince Rubino, he and I ended up living like a block away. Didn't realize it, didn't plan it. One day we just went to hang out, and he's like, "Oh yeah, here's my address." And I'm like, "Dude, I can walk to your place. Like, no problem. All right, sounds good. I'll be there in 5." And so, I don't know if you know this, but Oberon you can buy in mini kegs.
That does
So
not surprise me. Oh, you still have it. Fuck. Yeah.
you can buy
Usually
this, and it's what 1.32 gallons.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
And so Vince
I've
and I,
never seen that. That's crazy.
They have
It's-
those at Binny's.
Nice.
great. So we would just gather these. And this is another one where talking about the record for Iron Cities. So
Oh, okay.
the worst time that we had, or the best one, is I went over to his place with my dog, walking down the street, leash in one hand, mini keg and growler in the other.
Mm.
Went, hung out, drank through the growler because this was still during Arcadia times. So you could go get a growler fill for like $5 or $6, which was ridiculous. And I think we were almost done with the mini keg. Then his girlfriend Alyssa got home, finished off the mini keg. I went, wait a moment, I have another one at home. I'm gonna go grab it and come back. And by the time I got back, they were already pouring liquor. So we drank some
Hey, man, beer
Everclear.
before liquor, though.
Beer before liquor,
Uh-uh.
never sicker.
Everclear, and started making some food.
Wait, Everclear, that's not liquor, man. That is
That's
rubbing
like-
alcohol.
Paint dinner.
That's like what, 60% or something stupid like that?
Everclear?
Yeah.
That
That's
goes
high.
up to like 90%, I think.
Let me. No
It-
way.
It's
Everclear? Yeah. I
some.
think it's 110 proof.
Yep. Alcohol by volume, 60%, 75.5, 94.5, and 95.
Yeah.
So you probably had the low end of that.
That would
I
be
hope
nice
so.
if you. Yeah. I
But-
think you might have died if you didn't. Like, I mean,
So we had some Everclear, we had a couple pours, small pours, and then we finished off another mini keg. I was like, all right, I'm glad I didn't try driving here because otherwise my car would be stuck here, which it's a block away, not too bad. But walked back home, definitely a little buzzed, a little drunk. I went to bed, got up the next day, and went to Western Michigan University, where I'm undergrad, for band class. Started warming up, and partway through my warm up, Vince came over and was like, "Hey man, what time are you done today?" I don't think I'm done like 3:30, maybe 4. He's like, "All right, could you drive me home after?" I was like, "Yeah, dude. Why? What's up?" He's like, "I woke up still drunk, and I had Alyssa drive me here." And so I was like, all right, yeah, I got you, man. So there were tons of times where I went over to his place, hung out. During the polar vortex, went over when it was -25, -30. I drove over on that one.
Yeah. I think it's about time we get to our bio. So, with our classically trained musicians, we like to start with like college, unless you have any crazy stories from before then. But like start to college and then kind of give us a picture of your musical journey up till now.
Nothing crazy for high school, I guess. For to start off, just music wise. So I mentioned that I've been around professional level music, professional level trombone for a long time. My dad is actually a professional trombonist in the San Diego area. Played for years, subbed in like the San Diego Symphony. Has his own community band in San Diego. Mostly does teaching. I don't know how he survives teaching. He does middle school and he loves it. Did high school for like 30 years. First 2 years of college I did at Palomar College in San Diego, San Marcos, but San Diego overall. From there, moved to Western Michigan University. Did 4 years there. Got my undergrad. From there, moved to Pittsburgh. Did my master's at Duquesne, which second semester is when COVID happens, when the world ended, and all that fun stuff. Then went to Carnegie Mellon, where I met Mr. Doss here, Dr. Doss. And
Not doctor, no.
do you prefer Doc Doss?
No, I'm not a doctor.
I know it sounds funny though.
Oh, okay. You're right. You're right.
Uh,
We'll see.
did 2 years at Carnegie Mellon, got two their advanced music study certificates. So it's a good way to say that I have done a lot of college and have a few pieces of paper to show for it.
Very nice. And what are you doing nowadays with your trombone?
Nowadays, so non-trombone wise is a shorter story. I work at Johnston Bass Music here in Pittsburgh. Work at a music store. Do sales as well as lesson coordinating. On the horn, I am currently, I can't really say neck deep in the audition circuit. It's definitely like above my eyes right now. I am just over 3 years on the audition circuit. In the past 3 years, I have done 18 auditions. So it's been a lot. It's essentially, if you do the math, it's on an audition every other month. Back in March, where I heard the first piece of our segment, on the first segment, that was Friday. I drove from Pittsburgh to Chicago. Saturday morning had a Chicago lyric audition. Didn't advance past the first round. It is what it is. I liked how I played, so it was definitely a success for me. Then drove from Chicago down to Nashville, had Nashville Symphony audition, but that one was definitely, when I started playing in the hall, it's like, yeah, my sound does not work here. It's too wide for the hall. But I mean, the person who won it, I was not going to beat him. He sounds amazing. Drove back up to Pittsburgh and started working again. So
Wow.
that was the time.
Yeah, because it's like 8 or 9 hours from Pittsburgh to Chicago.
It's about 10.
About 10?
Yeah,
It's about 8 to Nashville from Chicago. So that's a lot of driving.
Yes, I covered a lot of ground
Mm-hmm.
in that weekend.
Do you at least like driving though?
I love it, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Hey,
yeah.
that's not that. That's not that bad. It's not for nothing, you know.
I'm one of those people too. Like the first time I took like a road trip by myself was to go to an undergrad audition at DePauw University, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere, Indiana.
Indiana, yep.
And it was super cool. That college has a lot of good things going for it. It's just really small, like, and they're happy being small. They're only undergrad school, and like it's, yeah, DePauw. You always have to correct people though. That's probably annoying. Like not DePaul. No, they're pretentious. They're up in Chicago. And, oh well, no, I'm just saying that because you guys denied me for my master's. But anyway, but no, that was a 5-hour drive, and I was still in high school, and I was like, this was not bad, and it's by myself. I have no issue being by myself. I think that's a good attribute to have if you like driving.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's y'all's longest road trips that you've done, like solo or with another person?
Colorado to Detroit. Yeah, Denver to Detroit, which was Johnny. What is it to where you were at to Chicago?
Cheyenne to Chicago is about 16 hours.
Okay,
I think that's my longest.
Denver's closer. I'm assuming though, right?
Yes, Denver.
It's like in the middle of the state. I thought.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like a little southeast.
Denver might be a little. Well, it might actually be the same because there are highways.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I should say that. So it was I guess a two-leg road trip. First, Phoenix to Denver. Watched a Rockies game, then drove to Detroit.
Yeah.
That was all my dad, though, not me. But I don't know. I would rather do the drive than be in the car at all times.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because you get like stuck in one place and you can't move, and it's not that fun. Because you don't have anything to keep your mind busy, like whatsoever. After you've watched like 3 movies on Netflix, what else is there to do? Like, I guess you can play a game at some point, but
Oh,
I don't know. There's always a
BYOB
downtime.
podcasts.
What'd you say?
BYOB podcast. That's what there is to do.
That's what there's to do if you're gonna go try to do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, mine was probably I drove the U-Haul from Chicago to Cheyenne, and then flew back, and then drove the Subaru from Chicago to Cheyenne. So that was I took the trip twice in like 5 days. But I was not alone for either of them, but I did do all of the driving for both. So, and no cruise control on that U-Haul. That was the worst part.
Yeah.
I might be able to beat that. I did have cruise control for this. I was in Michigan. I drove from Kalamazoo back to San Diego to visit family. Yes.
That's the winner.
Yeah.
Well, oh no, sorry. I've done that drive before. When I originally moved to Michigan, I drove San Diego to Michigan. For this time, it's going to sound insane, I flew to San Diego. I bought a new to me car, because the car I had at the time was like 198,000 miles, and it was going to be going relatively soon. So I got the car in San Diego, finished out the holidays, drove back out to Michigan, and then a couple weeks later, my family was moving, so I'm like, all right, let me help. I drove back to San Diego, helped them move for a handful of days, drove back to Michigan. So in a month span, flew to California, bought a car, drove to Michigan, drove back to California, helped my mom move, drove back to Michigan. That's a nice, easy, like, I think 7,500 miles in a
Yeah.
month. Yeah. The
That's
car was very
insane.
comfortable at that point, so that was great. All by myself, too.
Yeah, you broke it in pretty well.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, and it's about time for the music, so we are going to take a quick break and listen to that. So for your homework, you listeners, what we're going to be listening to is 2000 by Gorillaz. So we'll take a quick break, listen to that, and be right back. So we just listened to 2000 by Gorillaz. Vicente, what makes this your childhood memory song?
So, do you guys remember like the days of miniclips.com and addicting games and all that?
Mm-hmm.
So there was some game that I found years and years ago, mid 2000s. There was a game where you're just chilling in a Jeep, just driving around this little sandbox-esque map, like able to do like little jumps and all that stuff. And the whole time this music is playing. And it wasn't until like randomly I was just out and about and this song started playing. I'm like, that's the music from that game. Yeah. And then I realized like, oh wait, that's the Gorillaz web game, and that Jeep with the animated avatars that is Gorillaz in that. So for me, it's thinking about because I used to go to go with my dad to high school because he taught at the high school I went to, and the middle school I went to was right next door. So I would show up at the high school at 7 a.m. Middle school, our class didn't start till like 8:30. And so I'd have to kill
Huh.
time for an hour and a half. Thankfully, band room had an office and a computer, so I'll just go on and play video games and go on there. That Gorillaz game I used to play a lot because you could take these jumps off these ramps and sometimes you could do a flip and sometimes you'd miss and just explode. Uh, but for me, it's all listening back and well, hearing that and thinking back to playing games, just trying to kill time. And overall, Gorillaz is definitely it's a band that stuck with me for, I mean, nearly 20 years. So it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I was about to ask, do you still find yourself listening to Gorillaz? So you already kind of answered that.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'm just like, I don't know what to listen. It's another, I don't know what to listen to. Let me scroll through the 10 bajillion songs I have access to now.
Right.
And I was like, all right, Gorillaz, I can listen to anything because it goes from this song, 192000, where it has a very distinct jam to it.
Hmm.
And you can get stuff even to more modern stuff, or even like for Plastic Beach, I mean, Snoop Dogg's on that for a little bit. It has some orchestral feeling to it too as well. So it's pretty cool. You have a pretty wide range.
Yeah. I do have a video game that's similar to that one. And like in the memory of like what game was I always playing when I had that very little time on my family laptop back as a kid, like, and it was like I think it was called Bubble Trouble. You're like a little devil character in like a trench coat, and you like fire a squiggly arrow up to the ceiling, and you try to pop the bubbles with it.
Nice.
I don't know if I remember the music from that though. I have no idea.
Yeah, we've
You
talked
got
a lot about on this show about having like nostalgia for video game soundtracks. There was a series of episodes where we had like three people talking about the Madden '06 soundtrack or like '05.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
was Wolf Road, right?
that
It might have been
that's
Wolf Road, yeah.
easy. Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing how it's a little thing that you don't really think impacts you until 20 years later you just hear this song and you're like, that was on that game I played so many times.
Definitely, yeah.
So do you think being exposed to Gorillaz at a young age, because they have a very I'll say unique sound, it's like a techno funk almost, do you think that kind of shaped your musical interest, and do you think it had any indication on where you are today?
I would say yes, because uh, some of the music that I play that is very easy to me, that may not be super easy to others, is a super kind of syncopated music where you're playing off beats, you're playing on weird beats, meter changes like crazy, or you might be feeling like one half of the orchestra or band is playing in one meter and the other is playing in another. Shout out to Gorillaz 5/4. Uh, I have no issue with that. I've always been good at doing these weird meter things. And Gorilla does these kind of displacing the beat a little bit, kind of just hinting at it. And then that track 5/4 is very clear. One tune is going at 5, one is going at 4. But it definitely has also shaped just what I like to listen to. I like that sort of upbeat techno funk style. Looking at the genres we have, you guys already know. Add in electro swing, and that is one of my favorites,
Mm.
which
Very cool.
doesn't make sense when you think about like, all right, I'm a classically trained musician, but then I have electro swing as well as some of the stuff coming up. Very
Yeah.
interesting stuff.
Sure. Yeah,
All
we'll
right, so
tune next week for that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, let's get to ratings first, and then we'll keep it moving. So once again, this is Oberon American Wheat Ale, world famous, friend of the podcast.
The repeat offender. For me, like I say, I mean, the whole drinkability with friends plus the flavor, for me, it's a 5. Just so many great memories, and it's so much fun to drink and think about all the good times I've had.
Yeah, I'm thinking very similar. I'm going 4.5.
Yep, I'm splitting the difference with a 4.75.
Yeah.
Although as of late, I have found it more difficult to drink more of them because I don't know if I'm like developing some gluten thing, but if I find myself drinking a lot of wheat beers, I feel it the next day. So
I definitely get that. I feel like that might just be how the human body
yeah, maybe.
reacts to
Yeah,
wheat
but
in general. Like it's not. Maybe if we keep going though. I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, it was in before I moved, so probably it was Stanley Cup playoffs, so it was in June. I went to a bar with a friend, and I had maybe 4 Oberons during the course of the game. I definitely felt it the next day. So, but yeah, delicious beer. With that, we're going to go ahead and rinse out our glasses, pour our next ones, be back at you next week for segment number 3.